I wasn't walking the hard-boiled streets of downtown Los Angeles anymore. I had left the sordid memories of E3 behind me weeks ago. That was until I got a mysterious knock on my door one morning. I looked outside and the neighborhood was standard. When I stepped onto the stoop, I discovered that a strange package had been left behind. I poured myself a cup of fresh brew to get my head straight for what I was about to deal with. Inside the package was a file of sorts, a dossier, giving me the details of the case I was now embroiled in. Here's how it went down. So Beat Cop is the game, and as you can see, this is in the pre-alpha preview stage, so it's still a work in progress. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, so day one, and we start off here in the Precinct HQ. The captain busts our balls a bit before giving me the daily assignment, a list of places he wants me to visit in order to familiarize myself with my new beat. He pairs me up with the guy I'll be replacing, Fat Mike. So here we go. We hit the street together and I follow Mike through a series of local establishments and meet the who's who of the neighborhood. That includes Louis at the local Italian diner. After this, an illegally parked shaggin' wagon sets Fat Mike off, and he orders me to ticket it. After checking the meter, I mark the violation and sign my name and badge. This doesn't satisfy Mike's war on the hippies, as he orders me to tow the junker. I don't have time to feel guilty. This is my beat. Mike has some stuff to take care of, so we arrange to meet up at Louis' at the end of our shift. Here I am, alone on patrol on my own beat. I breathe in deeply to taste the city air, and I taste hot dogs. It isn't long before I am called into the local porn shop where the proprietor caught a thief. It is here that I am faced with my first time decision. Will I ease off or press the petty crook? I am quickly learning my choices will lead to a spider web of consequence. During my continued patrol, I come across some turf muscle and ensure them I am not trying to make waves. After all, so far I am trying to walk a tightrope, satisfying my boss and the street. As I meet with Fat Mike, I soon find this will be impossible to do. The passing car guns it, shots ring out. I fire off rounds after the killers with no prejudice. Before I know it, there is a crowd, the news vans, and Mike, bleeding out in my arms on the sidewalk. Thusly, my first day on my new beat ends. Day 2 begins back at Precinct HQ, and the captain is not pleased that my predecessor and partner was gunned down, warning me I'm on thin ice. On today's agenda, I've been issued a quota to write 5 parking tickets by the end of my shift. As soon as I hit the street, I'm checking meters and signing off tickets. Before you know it, I'm called in for an altercation at the Moonwalk Diner. I remember it's just down the street, so I head over. But before I arrive, my radio is buzzing off again, this time for something more urgent, a corpse in an alley. I make my way back the opposite direction, and I know I've found the stiff when I see the crowd gathering. There he is, poor grease spot. I start to interview the looky-loos, but to no surprise, no one knows nothing, and the coroner's dragging off the stiff with little more than the info from his wallet. This has been a crazy day. I take pause for a mushroom pizza. As the late afternoon summer sun sizzles the sidewalk, I'm trying to meet my quota when an interesting proposal presents itself. A bribe. I refuse. This is my beat. Day 3. Another day, another quota. This time, Captain Meter Maid wants us enforcing tire violations. So what can I do? I hit the street and start checking treads and issuing violations. Then out of nowhere, another bribe. This guy is giving me a Who's My Favorite President quiz. No brainer, Ben Franklin. So I got the quiz correct and I sent him off with a warning. This seemed like a win-win situation, and something that'll be happening pretty often. Later on patrol, a pickpocket is called out and a foot chase ensues. I manage my stamina and apprehend the perp. Finally, some real action. Take him away, boys. After that, a panhandler claiming to be a veteran hits me up for a donation. Call it kindness or calculation, but either way, it might pay off as he assures me he sees a lot on these streets and will return the favor. The neighborhood dynamics are starting to get interesting. My radio buzzes off about quotas and I return to my beat. Day 4 begins, and not only do we have many tickets to write, but there are also reports coming in of mafiosa types strong-arming and extorting local business owners. I'm on a ticket writing frenzy, trying to meet the impossibly high quota, when a call comes in on a possible extortion in progress. Before I'm able to respond to it, I'm summoned to Louis', where he makes me privy to a vehicle owned by a rival gang that is transporting significant amounts of contraband. I agree to follow up on his tip, understanding the implications. On my way to the van, my radio is buzzing off about tickets. Not now, I'm embroiled in some heavy shit. I check in on a local diner and find what appears to be a mafia shakedown in progress. I intervene, and the greaser promises retribution. Here it is. The van matches Louis' description and is parked right where he said it'd be. I search it, carefully moving items about in a limited number of turns to expose the package. Looks like a solid couple kilos. I can now call it in or deliver the drugs to the mafia. If I do the latter, I'll be working with and against the mob in the same day, on the same beat. It's a slippery slope. A slippery slope indeed. In the coming days, street dealers will sell me drugs and ask for protection. A sultry femme fatale will look for my help skirting the law and make payments to me behind closed doors. And the mob will attempt to hire me on as an accomplice in a hit. If I accept, if I refuse, to what end will these deeds lead? Into an abyss of depravity, or to accomplish some perverse form of justice? My dark destiny is my beat.